Hi there, Telebait here. Over the last week I've been pushing in rank to try and qualify for the EU Masters tourney, and I wanted to share the Nightfall deck I've been climbing with. I post weekly Legends of Runeterra content, mainly focused on deck guides with detailed game reviews so you can understand my decision making process. This week we are going over Nightfall Aggro, which is my favourite deck to counter the Lee Sin deck everywhere on ladder. I'm going to share with you the deck I use, how I mulligan, and do a detailed review of one of my games against the Lee Sin deck. The deck list is very similar to the list in my previous Nightfall video. Click the card in the top right if you want to see that. The main differences between this deck and my previous version is Mountain Goat got buffed from a free 1 to a free 2, which makes it a really strong card in any Targon deck. I've added in one copy of Behold the Infinite to act as an additional Nightfall activator. I've added in one Cygnus as he got buffed from a 4-2 to a 5-3, making him a lot more viable. And to make space for these cards, I've cut the Spacey Sketchers and Atrocities. I generally find now Cygnus is a better win condition than Atrocity, because with Atrocity you often needed a buffed up Diana to get a decent amount of damage from this. This way you can get a lot of damage with any unit on board. The mulligan hasn't changed much from the last version, only difference is you keep Mountain Goat as one of the new Nightfall activators. The principle of the mulligan is still the same. Overall you're looking for your activators, Stygian and Diana. Against control you can keep Stalking Shadows to get more value. You can also keep Shadestalker if you have an activator in hand. That would allow you to attack on turn 2 or 3. If it would be turn 4 before Shadestalker attacked, I'll look for more activators and Stygian instead. So as promised, I've included a matchup against the popular Lee Sin Z deck that's been going around. I think Nightfall Aggro is a great counter to this deck, and hopefully you'll see that in this game review. This is quite a good hand to start off with. You've got 2 Solari Soldiers which can act as activators, we definitely keep both of them. For Lunari Shadestalker, there is potential to play her on turn 3 and attack, so I think it will be worth keeping 1. Probably not worth keeping 2 here, so all I'll do is mulligan away one of the Shadestalkers. That's what I did, which is good. It's pretty rare that I actually do what I say is the best play when going through these games. So going into this first turn, there's consideration around whether you play the Solari Soldier or you can keep it as an activator. In this scenario I'd actually play it because we have enough activators in hand. One thing to note is if we weren't attacking turn 1, this would be a really bad play. Turn 2 you could play Eye of the Dragon, which would be quite annoying if you got a lot of healing off it over the course of a game, but isn't that big an issue. There's nothing worth playing on our end. We could play Solari Soldier and Stygian, but because Stygian's effect only lasts 1 turn, it's not worth it. So going into this round, we want to push as much damage as possible. The most damage would be playing a Stygian and a Shadestalker with both their Nightfall procs. So to proc their Nightfall, we then have to use Stalking Shadows. Stygian's really good against this deck as they don't really have any good way to stop it. He could play a Zed on turn and we would be very happy with him trading his Zed into the Stygian. Against other decks such as Bilgewater decks, this wouldn't be a very good play. This shows you why this deck is so strong against Lee Sin decks. So we have quite a few options with Stalking Shadows. Something like Crescent Guardian isn't that great into this matchup because usually their deck focuses on buffing up one of their units a lot, so they can use that unit to block Crescent Guardian, and therefore he won't get in much damage. Doom Beast is an okay pick here, but given our hand I think Stygian is the best choice, because what we can do here is then play triple Stygian to put in a lot of damage this turn. His only really good play against this is Concussive Palm, but even if he uses Concussive Palm we'll still put in 6 damage this turn and kill his unit. So he plays Eye of the Dragon, which still leaves him with enough mana for Concussive Palm, so if he doesn't have it he is going to die probably on our next attack. If he does have it, it does buy him a bit of time. So he does have the Concussive Palm here, which is huge. But we'll still attack in with everything. It's important to attack in with your Nightfall units even if they're going to die because it does help level up Nocturne. Turn 4 you could play Lee Sin here, but then he can't use any spells, so we're not really worried about him playing that. Does play the Lee Sin. We don't really have many good plays here. I think the best play here is to pass, because then we can play Solari Soldier into double Shadestalker. This will allow us to get in at least 4 damage next turn, which is huge. He hasn't casted any spells, so he's not going to get a Dragonling from his Eye of the Dragon, which is a big deal too. Nocturne here is absolutely huge. There's no way to level him up this turn, so we probably won't look to play him this turn, but get some chip damage in now and look to finish our opponent next turn. He plays Guiding Touch, which we're completely happy with. The thing we really don't want him to do is develop his board. If we can develop a wide board this turn and attack with everything, it allows us to get in a lot of extra damage, even though one of our units will die to his Lee Sin. So I did go for the line I explained before. I think this is definitely the best line. The best thing to do with his Lee Sin is to block the 3-3. He could be worried about something like a Pale Cascade, probably has another spell in hand to give Lee Sin barrier anyway. Interestingly, he blocks in with the Eye of the Dragon here. This is a huge mistake from him. Although he saves himself 2 life, the 2 health he'll get from the Dragonling next turn will already make up for that. So as predicted, he's got the spell to protect Lee Sin. He's just trying to keep Lee healthy, which is a completely reasonable play here. He's used 3 spells this game, so his Lee Sin is still very far from leveling up, and it's not really a worry. We do have to finish him on our next attack though, because if this gets to turn 8, he probably can 1-turn kill us. At this stage, we can't really waste mana, so we want to keep developing. He's probably going to pull in one of the elusive units anyway, so it doesn't matter what we play. We play the Mountain Goat first, that way we can activate our Nightfall units. What we really want off the top of our deck here is some sort of Nightfall activator. If not, we do have 7 mana and we can use the Crescent Guardian as the Nightfall activator for Nocturne. So we didn't get it. We're just going to play the Crescent Guardian down as a 3-3, and this is a big thing to know with this deck when you don't proc the Nightfall effect. So he plays Solari Priestess and he only has 5 mana. It's important here when going for your finishing blow to know what spells you're worried about. For 5 mana, the spells we're worried about are Will of Ionia could send Nocturne back to my hand, and therefore we won't be able to finish him off this turn, but there's not much we can do to play around it because we really don't want this game to last another turn, otherwise he might have the potential to 1-turn kill us. Cards like Concussive Palm don't win him the game here, because even if he stuns Nocturne, Nocturne will still level up and give all our units Fearsome, which is huge. He could have also invoked Meteor Shower. This would definitely be the best card against us, because then he could kill Nocturne and my 2-1. But again, we don't want this game to go on any longer because we're afraid of that 1-turn kill. Meteor Shower is definitely the most scary card. I'm not really that afraid of Will of Ionia, because generally these decks don't run that card. When playing Nocturne, we definitely have to put the Vulnerable on Lee Sin. He's the only unit can block, so we want to control who he's blocking so we can play around any healing. Even if he does have double Guiding Touch, there's no way that saves him here anyway. So he passes here, meaning he doesn't have the Meteor Shower. I spent a long time thinking about whether to hook Lee Sin with the Goat or with the Solari Soldier. The only play around he has to stay alive here is to use Hush on Nocturne, block the Doom Beast, and use Guiding Touch on his Nexus. And because of that, that would give Lee Sin barrier, and therefore I might as well hook Lee Sin with the 2-1 to get in 1 extra damage here. And he does have that in hand. That's nuts that he has the only out. Things are a little scary here. He only has 1 gem in hand, so hopefully he's not able to kill us here. He could possibly kill Nocturne, but that's okay because he would have to use 2 spells and he's unlikely to develop a wide board. And if we develop our board wide, we'll almost definitely be able to get in that 1 damage. Additionally, because he had to burn all his mana last round, he doesn't have any spell mana into this round, which makes me think it's unlikely that he can buff up Lee Sin enough to kill us. I definitely want to play a unit here just to lower Lee Sin's attack and reduce any possibility that he can 1-turn kill us. I think at 6 mana it's not possible. I play the gem onto Shadestalker as she's a guaranteed source of damage next turn. Dealing 3 damage instead of 2 might matter if he has another Guiding Touch. Plays Traveller here, which is great for us. At 2 mana and with only 1 gem in hand, there's no way the deck can give Lee Sin barrier. Play Diana here because we want to open attack next round. One thing important to note about invoke cards is they all play at slow speed, and therefore as long as I open attack, we won't be able to use the card he invoked. So we're not really worried about that invoke card, be it Supernova or Comet. At this point, I don't really see his out. One thing to make sure it's on our attack, we attack in the right order. He does give his Lee Sin Challenger, so we could kill our elusive unit.
Prepare yourself.
So the one thing we're worried about here is a Spirit's Refuge, and therefore it's really important to attack with the Overwhelm units first. Additionally, we should hook the Lee Sin with the 5-3 just to make the most out of the overwhelm effect on the Crescent Guardian, as the other two units have more health than Lee. The way I set it up, Lee Sin's actually blocking 3 damage here, whereas he would only be blocking 1 if I hooked him with the Crescent Guardian, possibly 2 if he manages to level Lee.
Conflict is all in the mind. I fight with the dragon's fury.
He surrenders, that's GG. With my experience with this deck, I think I've only lost the matchup once and must have won it like 6 or 7 times. These were all against high diamond or master players, so I do think it is a favoured matchup for Nightfall. Hopefully you enjoyed this game review. If you want to see more deck guides or game reviews like this, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you have any decks you want me to try out. Thanks for watching and have a good day.